Welcome back,
Yeah,
everybody. It is the Brothers Geek Out podcast. We got a Geek Out session today, and I got my
yeah,
nephew on
hello.
today, which is insanely cool. Hamza, welcome to the show. Finally, we have
Thanks for having me. Yeah, been waiting for a
namaz
long
namaz
time.
first namaz first.
I know I was that guy. Do you know what? I was thinking, how long can I keep pranking him? But then I thought he might think there's a stalker, so he might get scared. So I thought,
Yeah,
okay,
man.
maybe I'll
It
tell
does
him.
it does let you worry sometimes. It
Yeah,
does
because
it
you
does
don't
it
know,
does because you're
especially
like,
because
how
I
does he
think, oh,
know?
I know who you are, like and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So it's scary. You don't know who's following your steps nowadays. So
Well, no, social is a difficult part already. Like,
yeah,
I'm fully involved in marketing. I'm a social personality. Uh,
yeah,
you just don't know. Like, with the current situation in the world right now, man, the Zionists have been on me, bro. Oof, I spoke for a
really.
lot. Like, I've had to like privatize. I never had to do that before. I had to make my profile private on like my Facebook page because, bro,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
DMs I was getting from my Zionist brothers and sisters, like,
really.
brother, please come on, don't try and justify killing of children. Uh,
Yeah,
there's a justification in it, bro. You just pure evil. But the thing is, the reason why they feel that, and I've kind of gathered it, and they've been doing that in their propaganda for the past 2 years
yeah.
now. Is their reason, their justification, they think it's
I think it's their
scary.
promised land or whatever. Yeah, so.
But they're
Yeah.
waiting for because of the way we are as human beings, our reaction to something what's the word, like unexpected, would be anger.
Yeah.
So if somebody cut us up, if
Yeah.
somebody sent something abusive, as you've probably known, I play along with it a lot more. So
Yeah.
they probably get annoyed by it because they're like, why isn't this Muslim guy reacting?
Yeah.
And thing is, I want decent conversation. So, but social is very dangerous. It could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. Uh, but it's a shame. Like, people are using it as weapons now, and people
Mm.
can find out where you live. You have to be very careful. You have to be limited to what you
Yeah. Yeah.
show as well. So,
Mm.
but anyway, we got deep, man, already. Hamza is my nephew. This is
Yeah.
amazing. He's been a long time. You've been watching from the
Yeah.
beginning, right?
Probably right from the start. I think my first video I remember was the Civil War trailer reaction. So this is going back to 2016.
Wow,
That's a
my
long
God.
time.
Sound old. Sound old.
Yeah.
How old was you then?
I'm 28 now, so I must have been 19 or
22.
something. Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it?
How did I get so old? How did I
I
get
guess
so old?
this guy's part of your weekly routine, so you probably don't realize it's gone on for so long. But
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Like, we've slowed down.
yeah.
We slowed down. We do like maybe one or two episodes a month now, where before it was every
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
Because you got little dips and drabs of what we do anyway during the week when it comes to screenings and things like that. But long-term fan, which is amazing. So massive, massive thank you. And it's always nice to get people that actually
Yeah.
enjoy the show. There are some good shows, there are some bad shows, but most of the
Yeah.
time it's me and my brother. It must be weird. How does it feel for you to see two mamas talking so freely?
Yeah, it's strange because it's like I still get to kind of see what you guys get up to, even though I don't, see you guys as much. So it's quite nice.
Hmm.
So it still feels like I'm part of your lives and things like that. So
That's good. That's good. Mashallah, that's good. That's good. I feel like it's like having that community come with us on the
yeah,
journey.
yeah,
It's nice to see that you could do that by watching the videos, how we interact, uh,
yeah.
and Gilman's gonna love this episode. I didn't tell him you're coming on, so he's
Oh,
gonna be
was it?
surprised. He's gonna be surprised. He tried to do it, but he's in Singapore at the moment, and he
Oh,
was gonna
right,
he
yeah,
was gonna do a little surprise, but the timing just didn't work out. But I was
yeah,
like, let's get him on because we need an episode to push out. And
yeah,
but you've gone through a little journey yourself. We're going to touch on Cobra Kai a little bit
yeah,
because you did say you wanted to
sure,
jump on this ages
yeah,
ago. But
yeah.
how did you
Um,
find the season finale?
I thought it was such a clever ending, the way they wrapped it all up. It was really
Yeah,
good. I was thinking because when they had Daniel face Terry Silver, I
yeah,
thought that was the natural end of the show. So I thought, how could they really carry it on?
that's
But
right.
then
That's
they
what
gave us another ending, so yeah, it was really good.
I
And they
found.
kind
I
of,
found
yeah,
it like the because it started off with Johnny. It's like This
Yeah,
was
yeah,
Johnny's story, and in between it turned into Miyagi-Do, and I was like, as much as
yeah.
I love Miyagi-Do and
It just,
Daniel's character, it was really Johnny's story, and I'm glad that
yeah,
they got
yeah,
back to that. They did have some unnecessary episodes and
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
trials and all the tribulations they had between the groups and the rest of it. But I feel like they
Mm.
made it a bit. I suppose towards the end when they split it up in three parts, I think they should have done that in two parts. They didn't have to split
Yeah,
it
it
in
was.
three.
It did feel really. It felt like they pushed out so much plot in those last, 2, 3 episodes.
Mm, way too much. And Crease's
Yeah,
ending, I was like, what the hell? He went with a bang, didn't he?
yeah.
Uh,
That felt a bit cartoonish to me. Like,
that yeah,
yeah,
that I don't think they needed to add that there. I think what the scene they had with him and Johnny was such a
yeah,
powerful scene. They could have left it
yeah,
there, and you don't really
yeah,
need to know what happened to Crease. But they were like, you
yeah,
know what? Let's just blow them up. Terry and thing, like officially, let's kill them
yeah,
off. Uh, which I could have thought they would have moved into now that we're expanding on the movie universe.
yeah,
Uh, would have been interesting to see what they could have done in
yeah. I
that,
guess. Yeah.
but because it's
Maybe they're
crazy
too
because
old. They thought, let's
yeah,
just end their story.
let's finish this. I wouldn't be surprised. 40 years later, we
Yeah,
still get this story, which is
yeah,
insane because it's like yeah, I still get to enjoy things that I enjoyed
yeah,
in my childhood, and then it goes across to the next generation,
yeah,
which
yeah.
is great, because I don't know if you were a fan of the original Karate Kid movies.
Yeah, I did, man. Back in the 90s, they used to show it
Yeah,
on TV all the time, so I always used to see it.
yeah. Oh, good, 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 good. But
I did
you've
think that
reached it,
there was a
yeah.
few silly things I thought, like how Miguel changed over to Cobra Kai. I understand thematically he had to rejoin it, but surely you can't change dojos mid-tournament.
I don't know how that works, but it's TV, isn't it? It's TV.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
dramatic. It's dramatic. It's
that's
what
like
works.
imagine in the World Cup, someone says I'm changing my nationality and then I'm joining the winning team or whatever. Like that's what
Yeah,
it just
yeah.
sounds.
I'm sure there's laws that doesn't allow that, but because it's
Yeah,
TV, and I feel like I think honestly the that Miyagi Do in the script it was Miyagi Do that won.
yeah,
But then I think with screen testings and
yeah,
reshoots, they were like, you know what, we're gonna have to change that. We need to
yeah.
back
Because
to
the
the
brand of
original.
Cobra Kai, isn't it? So
Yeah, exactly. Like, how did it turn from Cobra Kai to Miyagi Do? It's not Miyagi Do. So I think
yeah,
they slowly changed that.
yeah,
There's a friend that we know. His name's Shamoon. He's got a page called Cobra Kai Nation, and he was in one
yeah.
of the last episodes. He's a big fan, and
Oh, is it?
yeah, he's a big fan. He was in one of the last episodes in the crowd, and he was like, he had his theories about what was gonna happen, but he was like, he just didn't really like. He was like, oh shit, they went back to the original, which is amazing.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
so they went back to the original core of the story, and then there is some convoluted plots in there, but it's
yeah,
TV, man. It's the dramaticness, like
yeah, yeah.
the when what's his name gets stabbed. He
Oh yeah,
stabs himself. Basically, stabbed himself and dies. I mean, where's the security checks up in here, man?
yeah, yeah,
You guys letting people carrying knives on them and stuff like. What happened to the
yeah.
security?
I
The
know that's
Royal the
probably
Royal Rumble cracked me up as well. The Royal Rumble
yeah.
like randomly exploded and like, would this really? Like, how do
Yeah,
you?
that's ridiculous.
But
It's
it's
probably
drama,
chaotic.
man. It's entertainment. It's
Yeah,
cheese. It's like it's the stuff I fully enjoy it. Like as much as
yeah,
we
yeah.
talk about its flaws, I still fully enjoy it. It doesn't really. It's not like it's not
It's
deep.
easy to watch. Yeah,
Yeah, it's so easy to watch, and you'll just enjoy it for what it is, really and truly.
I
But
tried. I tried getting my dad into it because he was the original like fan base when the first ones came out,
yeah,
but he just couldn't get into it. It's just too cringy.
I love
I
the
think that
cringe.
yeah, I think for him it's a bit too much maybe, but because it's too much like relationship drama and stuff like that, and he's not invested.
Yeah, that's
So
right. That's right. That's right. It's not like like the original had this heart to it.
yeah, yeah,
The original had this heart to it. Even now, to this day, when I watch it, I'm like, why does this have? so much heart compared like you and you. We're gonna talk about movies from like the 70s, the 60s, the
Yeah,
70s, and then coming into their 80s, and then 90s is where they had the turn of uh, the Hollywood industry and how CGI worked and how
yeah,
stories were told, and you realize
mm,
that if you go back to movies, they had this different feel to them. Like they made you
yeah.
feel something. Where movies do make you still feel something, but it's
It's very
the
commercialized.
yeah, it's the entertainment level. It's
Yeah, yeah,
how much can we throw at the audience that
yeah.
it may not actually have some substance to it, like what's happening to the Marvel universe. Like
Mm,
it came to a point where it was like I don't even like most of these characters anymore, and they
yeah,
don't
yeah.
want me to invest in these characters because they keep throwing different characters at us.
Mm,
But you don't let us have time to breathe. I mean, I don't know
yeah.
if you've seen Captain America.
I did. Yeah, yeah. I saw it. Yeah,
Like Sam's story, we've known Sam for 10 years, so
yeah.
we
So,
know him. I
mm,
like him as a character. I know what
yeah,
he's
yeah.
capable of. But then what they did in this, I was like, you didn't even give me the Cap I
Mm,
wanted and the Sam Wilson I wanted because you threw in so many characters. And when you throw somebody like
yeah,
Harrison Ford in there that will steal the scene as the
yeah,
Red Hulk, it's very difficult to let Cap be like Sam Wilson be Sam
yeah,
Wilson. And then they had that idiot uh, Black Widow fool character in there, which was
yeah.
pointless, absolutely pointless.
I
But they just
think
wanted to put that in there.
I think they try to throw as much in there and see what sticks, and then they see like, okay, where can we do a spin-off or give them, their own show and stuff like that. But they're not focusing on like one story. That's the problem.
Yeah, I think this is where
That's what I think.
hopefully
Yeah,
more quality because Thunderbolts was good. Thunderbolts was good.
yeah.
Thunderbolts was good. Thunderbolts was good.
I haven't seen that,
And it's
so I might have to give
you
that a
haven't
watch.
that one is very good. That's a
Yeah,
story. That's character led. That's not even
yeah,
about the big event. That's about the character. And I think that's
yeah.
what we're missing because what I watched Iron Man the first one and it was like, you know, we're talking about a character here. We're getting
Mm,
to know Tony a little bit more and what he's like and what he's gone through. And I was like, we don't get these character based movies no more because it's
yeah,
all
yeah.
based on what's happened after Endgame. Now everybody's like every
Mm,
movie after that, they keep comparing it, and they did with this one. This is not Endgame level though; it's character
no, of
level.
course, yeah,
You have a connection to each of the characters, and they talk
yeah,
about things that relate more now than they've ever related before. So it's like grounded to a superhero extent, basically. Uh,
yeah,
but it's still not like it's not Oscar worthy or compared to Phase 1 to 3 type of movies. And even
mm,
between those, you had some movies like the Thor movies. They're not great,
yeah, yeah,
uh, things like that. But yeah, all right, Sergio Leone. Oh my God, like, what made you jump
yeah.
onto these
I
the
think, yeah, I think when you see like modern films nowadays, they all just kind of this look the same. So, and obviously, this came up on Prime, and I was like, obviously,
yeah
I've always been a fan of westerns, especially like Mandalorian. So I was like, all right, let me go back to like the original Western trilogy, and I
mm,
always sort of I heard about them, and you hear like references in other films. So I kind of knew about them, but I never really watched it. So then I started watching the first one, Fistful of Dollars.
yeah
It's good, man. I don't know if a modern audience would appreciate it. I think they would just get bored because it is quite a slow-paced film.
very slow pace, but
It's not
full
like,
of
action scenes every so often, but it's a slow burner.
I
But
think
it's
they're
one of
good,
those
man.
films it's like you have to compare it to something like the first Rocky. Like it's a slow-paced film, like, but you see the sort of storyline play all the way through to the end.
Yeah, yeah,
Like the gun battles, they're not quick paced. Like there's a lot of build up, and then it'll just
yeah,
be like a quick bang, and then that's it.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
you have to have a lot of
Tension.
patience for it.
Patience,
Yeah,
but it builds a lot of tension. Sergio Leone, I think personally, he knew how to set the scene.
yeah, yeah,
It's all about that widescreen format. It's about looking at the
yeah,
landscape. They're visually stunning films. Like
yeah, yeah.
compared
Like,
to any movie now, they're visually stunning films.
mm,
Clint Eastwood, man, my dad's favorite. That's my dad's favorite. That's my dad's favorite trilogy.
yeah,
That's my dad all day long. He loves those
yeah.
movies.
It's good. Um,
we grew up on that. The soundtrack, the visuals,
mm,
and as you said, it's referenced in all Hollywood movies. Back to the
yeah,
Future 3, Marty
yeah,
McFly's
yeah,
Clint Eastwood, the outfit, uh,
yeah, everything,
just
yeah.
like you have a. It's just so vast. I think as well as you said.
Mm,
I don't think they're slow burners, because for me, as somebody who likes movies now and movies
yeah,
back
yeah,
then, I enjoy the feel that it gives to me. I enjoy the
yeah,
visuals
yeah.
that it gives to me because
That's it, yeah.
it entertains me. There's a moment where you're seeing even like the tension scenes before the gun battle, the
Mm,
close-ups to the eyes. It
yeah,
really wants you to feel those moments, like the sweat dripping off somebody.
yeah,
When they slap somebody is the funniest because you can hear that slap.
yeah.
And I feel like they actually
It was
slapped
a
the
real slap,
actors.
yeah.
Yeah, like it was a real slap. That was a real slap. Uh, I'm trying to remember which one it was where Clint uses a match and off the guy's stubble.
Might be. I don't
I
know.
think that's the I think that's the first one. I think that's the first one.
Maybe.
And
Yeah,
he lights up either
yeah.
I'm trying to remember, it was either his nose or off his stubble. And I don't know why I found that scene funny, but dad was like, "Why are you laughing so hard?" I was like, "Man, like when
Yeah,
you grow older, you're like, I'm gonna try that." And it's like, no, that doesn't actually work. How did they do that?
some
Uh
movie magic. Probably.
Movie magic, man. It's
Yeah.
brilliant. Clint does bring this edge into it. I mean,
Yeah, it's such a iconic character, and it's really sort of stylized, like sort of like how John Wick is in that sense. It's just they've
yeah,
built this world, and and you kind of just have to run with it. But
you know what?
oh
You're
yeah,
right.
I think
World
yeah,
building. I didn't even think about that. That's like one of the first trilogies, isn't it? Like world
yeah,
building wise and
yeah.
characters. Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that.
I think
Didn't
there's a
even think.
few things where like a modern audience might be like to say like some of the gun battles, there's no blood splat, so someone
Hmm.
nowadays I might think, oh, that looks silly. But I think for the time, obviously, you just kind of go with it.
The blood splatter's a Hollywood thing.
Yeah,
It's a Hollywood thing. It's a visual thing. It's like how much gore can we give to the people? And sometimes you don't need that.
yeah,
I think the element of what the movies had back then was, you know, specifically like Alfred Hitchcock when he did Psycho. When you watch that
yeah,
movie, when the shower scene where he goes in and stabs the woman, but you don't
yeah,
really see him stab. Like nowadays movies,
yeah,
you'd see
yeah,
them stabbing, and you see
mm,
the knife going into the skin and the blood.
yeah,
But they didn't have to
yeah,
do that. All they did was like put the knife up. The woman screams. He does that. You don't even see it hit the body. All you see
yeah,
is the blood. It it as an audience, it makes your mind tick, right? Like
yeah, yeah,
I think that's what Sergio did with how he shot
yeah,
his Western movies was that I want everybody to feel the atmosphere here because it's not great.
mm,
Back in the Wild West, so it wasn't great. Everybody had,
yeah, yeah,
you don't know if you're going to be alive today or you're going to be dead tomorrow. Like one of
yeah.
those
That's it.
things.
Yeah,
I want you to feel the surroundings. I think if I'm right, Sergio Leone did Once Upon a Time in the West. I think. Have you seen that one yet?
yeah,
With
yeah. I
I
haven't.
love
No,
that movie. That movie's got that's
might
an
be one to watch.
amazing one.
Yeah,
Hold on, let me see if that's right. Sergio Leone. I need to find out Sergio.
I think I read he's only done like 7 films or something. It's not like a
That's
huge
right.
amount.
Yeah, his catalog's not massive. So he's done Sergio. Oh no, hold on, no, don't go in there. He hasn't done many movies. He only did a couple.
Yeah.
So you got Fistful of Dollars, Once Upon a Time in the West. Yeah, he did do that.
Oh, right, yeah.
My Name is Nobody. Uh, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. For a few dollars more.
Yeah.
Once Upon a Time in America. Uh, you know what? He has got a collection of movies, but
Mm,
Italian film movie maker Sergio Leone. Yeah, he's got a good collection of movies. There's a movie. So once a time, if there's any movies you want to watch next,
yeah.
Once Upon a Time in the West. That's a
All
great
right.
film.
Yeah.
And then there's a movie called My Name Is Nobody. Now that was
Okay.
mine and Gilman's kind of favorite comedy film as we were younger because he doesn't just in this movie he doesn't just he's brought an element of comedy into a very serious time in that era of
Yeah.
of America, and you know the amount of crime. Well, basically, everybody was like Judge Dredd. They took law into their own hands. You
Yeah.
know, that's how I saw it. Like, you know, they're
Yeah.
Judge Dredd. Like, uh, you step on my shoe, come outside, let's have a duel.
Yeah.
You mess something up, or you put on my horse's shoe wrong. Let's go outside, let's have a gun battle. Like,
Yeah.
they had this gentleman's agreement, but in that moment, you're making a life and death situation,
Yeah.
critical thinking situation where you're like, oh my god, I just stepped on his shoe. I should have said sorry, but I didn't,
Mhm.
or I spat on him instead, and now I'm gonna
Yeah.
die because of that. So it's
Yeah.
like they had this Judge Dredd mentality where it's like, I'm just gonna kill this fool. Uh, but in My Name Is Nobody, he flips that a little bit and he has a bit of comedy with it, where
Oh,
it's based on this criminal named Nobody. He doesn't really have
okay.
a
Yeah.
name, but he's idolized this amazing cowboy who is the fastest gunslinger in the West, and he's killed this many people by himself. He's really good at long range shooting as well. So very funny, good movie. That one's a good one.
Mm.
But the dollars
Yeah.
trilogy is like it is the most I think they're beautiful movies, and a lot
Yeah.
of people, as you said, the newer generation won't appreciate. They will. I think they
No.
will if you give it time. I think people need,
Mm.
like, now we're set in a trend and mood. So we are in a, they call it what is this, Gen Alpha now?
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Don't
think
know
it's
what the
Gen
terms are
Alpha,
nowadays.
Generation TikTok. People's attention
Yeah.
spans are really
Very
short,
short. Yeah.
really short. Like, we're taught more patience, and I suppose that comes with
Yeah.
our religion as well. Being
Yeah.
patient.
Yeah.
Don't rush your prayers. Read
Mm.
slowly. So we're from I think, depending on your upbringing and how you
Yeah.
learn
Yeah.
and what it
That's it.
is,
Yeah.
I think movies like these do have a bit of, like, there's going to be a good ending. There's going to be a
Mm.
great ending. How do I pace myself? Like, there's no
Yeah.
pace. Like, I always try and teach people about pace. I think pace is really important in life as well, because I feel like,
Yeah.
uh, as an artist, I do stuff in stages.
That's it.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna go through different mood swings. Nothing's ever one straight line. It's up and
Mm.
down. It's up and down. We're gonna struggle. We're gonna find things very emotional. We're gonna be frustrated. We're gonna be angry. It's like, uh, how do you keep cope with that? And that's very hard. I mean, everybody's gonna find their own ways of dealing with that. But I feel movies are like that as well. And then they don't have. I mean, what's the longest movie we got last year? Was that June Part Two?
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah, June Part Two was almost 2.5 hours. Something was recently came out which almost hit 3 hours.
Mm.
What am I talking about?
I know, like John Wick was quite a long one. I think
The
that came
third
out
one,
last.
yeah, about 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
That was 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, it's amazing that you get movies like that where you got that
Yeah.
long longevity, but I feel like sometimes it could drag out. I mean, if it's
Yeah.
not like June is an amazing movie, and a Part Two is insanely good. Uh,
Mm.
but you have to keep the audience drawn at all times. And now
Yeah. Yeah.
the,
It's
the
hard.
the Dollar trilogy are almost 3 hour movies, each of them.
Yeah, it's long. I mean, I couldn't do it in one sitting. I watched it over over 2, 3 days. So.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So it's gonna be a very long process. I remember I've always watched them bit by bit, but I remember as a
Yeah.
teenager when I watched them fully, I was like, oh my god, these are actually long movies,
Yeah.
really long movies. And then when I watched them again in my 30s, I was like, it made me appreciate the movie making experience. Like,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
must have took, some movies took a year to 2 years to make, maybe 3 years
Yeah.
to make.
Mm.
Production takes a couple of years. So you get to a point where it's a full on experience where you're
Yeah.
trying to you're making this movie and everything's all, there's no CGI.
Mm.
That's
It's
all
got a
real
real
what you're
feel
saying.
to it. Yeah.
It's real. So that you had this tangible feeling with this movie.
Yeah. Like
Sorry, guys. Mm.
the first one, like I don't know how much of the plot you remember, but there's a point where he gets captured and he gets like
Yeah,
really
yeah.
beaten, and he looks like he's really taken some hits, man. And
Yeah,
then
and that's
they recover.
prosthetics back then.
Yeah.
Like how they did special effects back then with physical makeup and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Uh, It was good. Yeah, he does take a beating in that first one. He does take a beating. Uh,
I feel like you need to show stuff like that nowadays because fights, like real fights, they're messy. Like you don't look clean afterwards, you know.
no, no, I
Uh,
think 100%, 100%. I feel like they don't have that reality in
yeah, yeah,
where hyper realistic now. Even some
yeah,
of the fight scenes, and even when they do something that's a bit more brutal, like UFC or anything
yeah,
like that, it still has that. Uh, you have to have that beauty to it. So there's going to be slow motions. Did you see
yeah.
Creed 3?
I did, yeah, yeah.
You know, like he added his
It's more
anime
stylized that
influence
one,
into it.
yeah,
It's more stylized, so
yeah,
it doesn't give you that raw boxing feel. There's a one of my friends who recently worked on a boxing film. Uh, like he wanted that real, authentic boxing feel, and
yeah.
he did it on film camera, which is what they used back then. Uh,
Mm,
and it looks amazing, and it makes you feel
yeah,
every punch, and you can feel everything, which is absolutely amazing.
yeah,
I think it's what it makes you feel.
yeah,
If
yeah.
like for you to be talking about it now, and you're of a you
Yeah,
would be you're a you're not a millennial, are you a
millennial.
millennial?
No, I'm born in the 90s, so
Yeah,
it's
that's right.
still
So
time before I was born.
my God, it's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, don't know. Anyway, yeah. So for you to enjoy the movies like that at your age now,
yeah.
that means you're maturing, and that you
That's it,
appreciate the
yeah.
craft. You appreciate the
That's it,
craft.
yeah.
You appreciate the craft, and you got these characters. I forgot the ugly guy's name. Uh,
Um,
he looks more Bengali than Mexican anyway. Uh, what's his name again, man? It's gone.
uh, can't
I swear
remember,
they call
man.
him. Do they call him the bastard sometimes?
Let's call him the ugly, isn't it? I don't know.
Ugly, yeah, he is the ugly. But then you got Lee Van Cleef,
Yeah,
uh, you know, he reminds me of he's like the ninja assassin guy.
yeah,
He's like the secret agent guy, basically coming in because
yeah,
he's really clean cut. He looks really good. He's
yeah,
really quick on the gunsling as well. And you know, all of these three guys chasing this one thing, trying to resolve
mm,
it, trying to get to this point where it's like, how do we deal with this? In the end,
yeah,
from my knowledge, if you guys ain't seen this, spoilers. Uh, Ugly survives, right? He lets Ugly go.
yeah. So,
Yeah,
so basically,
yeah,
what happens is he kind of pretends to hang him,
yeah,
and then he leaves him his half of the money, and then he go, and then Clint kind of goes away, and then he thinks, "Oh, I'm going to let him hang," and then he
yeah.
shoots the rope afterwards and lets him go, and then it cuts to credits, I think.
I love that. I love that.
It's kind of, I don't know. I guess he was kind of dicking with him. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely it was. It was. It was. He was like it's a he's not that cold
Yeah.
of a
But thing
person.
is, he kind of has left him for dead because he's like in the middle of a desert, you know, no horse, nothing. So
I'm sure he'll find his way. They always find their way. They always find their way.
yeah,
It'd be movies that they could never remake though. They could never remake these
yeah.
movies.
I
They wouldn't
actually
have
like
that
the
right.
second one more, for $3 more.
That's a good
Yeah, no,
film.
they can't. Yeah, I actually like that one more. Just I felt like the the plot was a lot deeper because the Lee Van Cleef's character is actually quite dark, man. So it's basically his sister gets something happens to her. I don't know if I can
Yeah,
say it on
yeah, yeah.
YouTube,
No, no,
but
no. It's all right. It's all right.
basically, yeah, she gets raped, basically,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
and but you don't find out till the end of the film. You just think, oh, he's a bounty hunter and he's trying to catch the villain. And what I like, compared to films nowadays, you realize that this was just a straight up villain. There's no, oh, let's redeem him or he's misunderstood. Like he's just a bad guy in it,
yeah, yeah,
and I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that makes more of a compelling reason. Like you have to kill him. There's no like, oh, let's try and like talk it out and whatever. It's like no, you have to just kill him. So I kind of like that element of it as well.
No,
And then there was a
100%.
scene, yeah, there was a scene which cracked me up where so Clint's character meets Lee Van Cleef for the first time, and then they kind of get into a tussle, and then Clint kind of punches him and shows like, yeah, he's got the best of him. and then he shoots his hat, and then he keeps shooting his hat, and his hat's getting pushed further back, and then up to a certain point, like he can't shoot it anymore. So he realized, like, that's his limit. And then the other guy, Lee Van Cleef, he shoots Clint's hat off his head, and he's just kind of showing like he could kill him at any time. And
Yeah,
yeah, it was just
yeah,
like
yeah,
a
yeah.
funny little scene, but
It's a
yeah,
good
these kind
scene
of
because
scenes, man,
it's.
they're really yeah,
Sorry, you were saying.
it's slow storytelling. No,
I think you're slowing down a little bit, bro.
like he's superior, like he's the marks.
No, that's right. That's right. That's right. I think it's one of those witty situations where it's like we could be as good as each other, but I'm still gonna try and one up you. I think we do that in our culture as well when we try to one up each other.
Yeah,
You're kind of back.
all right.
Yes, can you hear
Okay.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I think it's something that we do in general as a human
yeah,
society that we always trying to one up each other. That's what they're
yeah,
doing. They're
yeah.
one upping each other. They're
That's
like,
it.
if you could,
Yeah,
I could do exactly what you could do. I could do it better. So
yeah,
I think that's something that we all do in general anyway. But that's a
yeah.
good scene. That is a good scene. I'd be
But I was
upset though
thinking,
because
are those hats bulletproof, man? Like, sure, I don't know how they're still intact after that.
you could see the hole, right? And you're like, no, man. Like
Oh,
in a real situation, I feel like it will rip it, deteriorate it. But
yeah, it would just disintegrate, surely.
yeah, like but they've got some tough hats, man. I want to get one of them hats. I've been waiting. You know what? Saying that, I was like, I want one of those panchos as I get older, and I am
Yeah,
older. Like I feel like I could be like one of the dadas now and wear a sador. Uh, but
yeah,
I want a Clint Eastwood sador. That's what I want.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, uh, Actually, you know what? I'm gonna check online now see if I can find a pancho. Uh, because I wear that around the house in the winter. I didn't think about it now until you brought it up, but
Yeah.
uh, no, it's a great trilogy. Like guys, if you haven't seen Sergio Leone's the Dollar trilogy, then go check it out. Like it's probably
Yeah.
even though we've given you spoilers, but there's still more to it. You're talking about
Yeah,
9 hours
yeah.
of movie. This is a 9 hour movie. This is a
Mm,
9 hour trilogy. So like you have got some time and it's like a really chilled, like you're not getting a fast-paced action movie here. It's not Lawrence of Arabia. It's
mm,
gonna be a slow burner, but it's very insightful. It takes in the scenery, the
yeah.
acting, the tension. Sergio Leone
Mm,
knew because he was inspired by movies like Seven Samurai, and
yeah, yeah.
there's a reason why they started all of these Western movies is because the Japanese were already Akira something. It's gone out of my head now, but he did
Mm,
their versions, their stories of samurai stories, which has transcended into the Western story. Then it transcended into the Jedi story.
yeah,
They all originated from that side, but that
yeah.
culture, the way of the samurai, this was the way of the West, I suppose.
That's it. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so like it's interesting how the cultures have interpreted it in their own ways. But it's such a great. It's Clint's best, to be honest. Like
Yeah, yeah.
Clint Eastwood is a great actor. I think he's a great director. I think he's one of the best storytellers in
Mm.
our generation at the moment. Now, my guy's still 92 years old, still pushing and directing movies. I rate him, man. If there's anybody else I want to meet before anything else happens, is take my dad to meet Clint Eastwood. That's all. I think that would be one of those heartfelt
Mm.
moments for me. It's like one of those things. Uh, but amazing, amazing. But yeah, no, check it out, guys. Make sure you check it out. Did you say they're available on Prime at the moment?
It's on Prime, yeah, so you can
Yeah.
still see it.
If you guys are a Prime member, check them out. They should be still on there, still available. There's some plugin for Amazon there. I don't like plugging them at the
Yeah.
moment, but there you go, a little plugin. Uh,
Yeah.
you've been watching anything else recently?
That's it. Just those. I watched that Cecil film. That was good. It's kind of like Rambo. That
Yeah,
first Rambo, you can kind of imagine that in World War Two.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was good. Sisu's good. So they're doing a part two to that now.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're gonna get a
There's
part
some
two.
bit. There's some bit. I don't. No spoilers, but there was a bit where I'm like, come on, how is he gonna survive through that? But yeah. I don't know if I should spoil it, but
Go on. Spoilers. We love doing spoilers here. If you
Yeah,
haven't
so
seen it, it's been out for like 2 years, I swear.
yeah. So there's a bit where he got hung, and it was like I think like the whole night went by, and he's literally swinging from his neck to basically get to the side of the ledge. And I'm like, that this guy is literally supernatural at this point.
Well,
But I guess
this
yeah, they describe him as being immortal, so that's kind
yeah,
of
I mean that's how they start the story
yeah,
off, right?
yeah,
It's interesting that they did that. I mean that scene. There's always going to be scenes that catch up to you, and you'll be like, "Oh man, come on, man, what the hell?" Like,
yeah,
when even like with John Wick when he chops a finger off,
yeah.
like there's some yeah, and then he uses a something like not a cigarette light, but a cigar or something to.
Some hot metal to cauterize.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like that's some horrendous pain, man. Like
yeah.
even a paper
You would
cut hurts.
faint. Like you would faint. There's no way you could handle. Like you'd be overwhelmed with pain. Like there's
There's, but we know it's stylistic action.
yeah,
We know
yeah,
he could take a
yeah.
couple of bullets and all the rest of it. But listen, man, I hit my shin somewhere. It really hurts. Like,
Oh yeah,
let alone cutting my finger off and then burning it so to stop the
yeah,
bleeding. Nah, I'm all right, bro. I'm okay. There is, I don't know. That's a whole different level. So you're right. Hanging all night. That's a whole. That's
yeah,
nine. What? That's a 7 hour shift. Hanging,
yeah.
trying to swing, like
If
swing
it was
side to.
like if it was like he hung and then like a minute later he cut the rope, I was like, okay, it's a bit believable, but not the whole night. Like that was
That's
just
some
too much.
sheer willpower there. That's sheer
Yeah,
willpower there. No, that's a good film though. It's a good action film. Good
yeah.
action film. Uh, what did I
Actually,
watch?
I actually heard about because I don't think it's that famous. Like no one really knows
No.
about it because it's yeah, and I actually heard about it from a meme, and the meme was
Yeah.
basically John Wick versus Sisu, who would win in a fight, and
Yeah.
then someone captioned saying, "Oh, who the fuck is Sisu?" So I was like, "Oh, I've got to check this film out."
Yeah. No, it's all right. It's good. It's good. It's like it's interesting. The action scenes now, like from for like any type of action movie now, compared to what we grew up with like Stallone and Arnold and Bruce Willis, uh,
Yeah.
Jean-Claude Van Damme. I mean, the list is ongoing during that time.
Mm.
Steven Seagal, Kurt Russell. I mean, those are my action heroes. Like those are the guys that I grew up with, uh,
Yeah,
and that was hyper realistic as well, but
yeah.
kind of believable in a way where you're like, yeah, I think they could do that.
Still a
Where
real
now,
human, sort of. Yeah.
yeah, like now you're like, oh my god, these guys are taking bullets, getting hanged all night, cutting off fingers. And my guy got like John Wick gets hit by a car like several times in every
Yeah.
movie. He gets hit by
The
a car. Like he must have some spinal cord injury.
Yeah, exactly. Even in number three, when he gets shot and then he falls off the building, I'm like, there's no
Yes,
way. There's no way. Like
yes,
your insides would be turned to mush. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like you're there's a there's some brain trauma with that.
yeah,
Like that like your brain. I know that my brain moves when I sneeze. So like
yeah,
having a drop like that must be insane. But nah, it's
yeah,
Hollywood, man. It's action. Like
yeah,
it's had that dramatic change for us. It's like where does it go next, and how do we excite the audience even more? Because superhero movies have changed the genre completely.
yeah. It
Like
has, yeah.
who is gonna go see an action film with a normal human being compared to what you're gonna see with a superhero film now? Like
That's
I
it.
think
Yeah,
Spider-Man had changed the game for everybody, bro. Spider-Man, that first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man changed the game for everybody. When it came to action
mm.
movies, when it came to visual effects, when it came to I think Spider-Man 2, Tobey Maguire's one, is probably one of the best action movies ever to this day. Superhero
Yeah.
movie and action
I
hero.
think it's one of my all-time favorites. Yeah,
That is it's an amazing movie, amazing movie.
yeah,
Uh, and you see this growth in Tobey Maguire's character as well. And even though he looked like a
yeah,
30-year-old Spider-Man, uh, I still have love for those movies. I think the first one
yeah,
is absolutely amazing, but the second one is like one of the best superhero comic book adaptation movie. Not even a comic book
yeah, yeah.
adaptation, just a comic book movie is one
Mm.
of the best. That'll be in the list with The Dark Knight and
Yeah,
to even I wouldn't even class any of the MCU movies as like one of the greatest movies ever.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
they're great action films, but they won't
Mm.
give me what Star Wars did, what Superman,
Yeah,
Christopher
but,
Reeves
yeah.
did, or what Back to the Future did for me. Like, they're like cinema classics. So
Of course, yeah.
it's a change. I think the action genre has changed. I saw the recent Karate Kid. I won't spoil anything, but
Yeah, all
it's
right.
not it's not for me. It wasn't for me.
Yeah,
It's a good film, but it's just not for me. Like
I
I think
didn't
that
think I
go
had
on.
my yeah, I haven't seen it, but I've just seen like reviews and stuff. I didn't think it would be good just because I think they've done that story so much now. Like Cobra Kai has been 6 seasons. I don't think there's anything left to tell.
Yeah, yeah. I think yeah,
Yeah.
that's a hard. That it's gonna be hard. That's gonna be very hard. It's like
Mm,
what are you gonna tell? And now that the fact that they've done this combination
yeah.
for me didn't really work because it's all about the heart. The reason why Cobra Kai worked for me was it still had heart. Even though
Yeah.
it was a bit convoluted and way too much going on, it still had heart. And I think the only thing that's going to connect, like, because I know what they're trying to do. They bring in the old people,
That's it, yeah.
wheel them in with Jackie and Ralph,
Yeah.
introduce them Ben, and like the martial arts in it is actually some of the best martial arts we've seen in the Karate Kid and
Yeah,
Cobra
yeah.
Kai. It's the
Yeah.
best martial arts we've seen. Is the fight choreography is amazing,
Yeah.
but it's like
Well,
nah,
because the thing is, the whole appeal of Cobra Kai was Johnny's story that he was a karate champion back in the day. He's kind of just let himself go. He hasn't
yeah,
really much with his life, and then it was like a chance of kind of redeeming himself.
yeah.
And it
It's
wasn't
a
actually
great
about
redemption story.
it wasn't actually about the karate. It was just about him kind of piecing his life back together, and that's what a lot of people relate to,
Yeah, no,
and just
exactly. And we
having
will,
regrets and things.
we will,
Yeah,
we will regret. We're gonna. It's more humanized. The story is more
yeah,
humanized,
yeah,
and it's something that we're all gonna struggle with because life is not hunky dory. Even when you
that's
got
it.
money and you feel like you got everything in your life, you don't. You're a man with nothing. You're a woman with nothing yet
Yeah,
nothing. You keep pushing for these little things. You could have a
mm,
perfect little bubble, but it's not. There's always some sort of challenges that are going to be in the way. And it's like, how do you
mm,
overcome them situations? And I think that's what Cobra Kai kind of teaches quite a lot as well. Was
mm,
well, balance. Mr. Miyagi says it. He says it. Balance, balance, balance. I love that quote.
yeah,
I didn't really understand it till I got into my 40s. But balance. Oh my God, mashallah, balance, balance. And God says it as well.
mm,
Allah says it as well. Balance. There's going to be balance. Like
mm,
it's how you balance your life around Islam.
that's it. Yeah,
Balance is so important, and that's the same thing with karate. Is like balance. It will teach you
yeah,
things, but you have to have balance in the process as well. So like crazy, man, really, really good. Uh,
mm,
and I still love it to this day. Like I still watch the Karate Kid like regularly, regularly.
yeah.
It's
I
not a
mean,
movie I don't miss.
it's such a clever film, because the whole message was he was teaching Miyagi was teaching him like the value of hard work, discipline,
Yeah,
doing really hard graft, and
exactly.
not seeing the value of it until like much later on, and that's why you could see why someone like Daniel would be a success later on in life, whereas someone like Johnny, he never, he didn't have the same journey.
No, 100%, 100%. Uh, but struggle, right? And he learnt balance
Yeah,
after, which was great. And
yeah,
it's like, how do you take that on? And sometimes you need a friend, a family member, you know,
yeah,
anybody to kind of just bring you back to reality and say, you need, you're doing this wrong, bro. And like, what can you do to finish that off? And how do you work that out? Like, my brothers will always tell me if I'm doing something wrong. You always need somebody to tell you sometimes.
that's it.
And
Yeah,
sometimes you could be stuck in a weird, uh, unbalanced life, but
mm,
somebody always there to kind of just bring you back to reality and say, "Come on, man, what you doing?
yeah,
This is not you. You're not doing you. Like,
yeah,
what happened?" So we all have our journeys. We'll make our mistakes along the way, but the
mm,
main thing
yeah,
is
man.
that there's somebody that keeps you in check, whether that's a friend or a family, or whether that's Iman, your dean. Allah
Yeah,
sends messages as well, like signs, signs. Check those signs.
that's it.
All right, Hamza.
Yes,
Thank you for
Mama.
coming on.
No worries,
You're
man. Thanks.
I got a nephew on the show, which is great.
Yeah.
Guys, Massive, massive thank you to everybody who's donated to medical aid for Palestine. They need it more at this time, which is absolutely crazy at the moment now. I want to thank everybody who's donated so far. You guys have been absolutely amazing. This month, last month's target, we absolutely smashed. I am going to be running it again. It'll be on our Instagram page as well, on the Brothers Geek Out podcast, and my personal page as well. Make sure you guys are following our social media journey. We are on TikTok, X, and Instagram, and YouTube. There's a community page on the YouTube. We put always on there. The links to the charities are all down below. But Hamza, thank you so much for coming on again
All right,
and,
Mama.
and
Thanks for
geeking out
having
with
me.
your mama. And we'll catch up soon.
We'll catch up soon, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Take care.
Definitely. Assalamu alaikum.